Hey, what's going on? So if you're new to this channel, I buy a lot of Dollar Tree movies and then I watch a bunch of them and I review them. So Dollar Tree, sometimes not the best quality movies, but sometimes you find hidden gems. I'm gonna rank these from my least favorite to my favorite. Least favorite, the Zombie Planet Trilogy. This is a very bad, boring movie. It's not well done at all. I did laugh at it for about the first 20 minutes or so, and then it just comes to a point where it's no longer funny, and the joke isn't that the movie's bad, the joke is that I'm watching it. And yeah, I do not recommend Zombie Planet at all. It's a 3-movie trilogy. The first movie is 2 hours long, and then I stopped at that one. I didn't continue watching. I am a little bit frightened though, because I feel that some of these people right here might be zombies. Okay, so the next one on the list is Bride of the Scarecrow. I do not recommend this movie at all. It was very dull and boring. I mentioned this in my pickup video that Sean Phillips, fellow YouTuber, aka Cool Duder, is in this. But he's not actually in the movie. He's just like played on a computer screen and he's talking about scarecrows. So no offense to him, but this movie is not very good. I do not recommend it. Slightly better than Bride of the Scarecrow, but still not good, is Curse of the Scarecrow. Slightly better action, but still a bland movie that I wouldn't recommend that you watch. Next on the list, Anger of the Dead. Now this movie is somewhat well made and looks nice. The problem is why it's so low on the list is I found it unwatchable on how frantic the camera angles are. It's constantly switching, so you don't get a shot of the zombies for longer than 3 seconds ever. I just want to see slow, shambling zombies in large groups coming after people. I don't want constant quick cuts where you can't even like tell what's going on and it gives you a headache. So I do not recommend Anger of the Dead, which steals its whole layout from The Walking Dead. Voodoo Apocalypse. I did not enjoy this movie very much. It's a spoof of exploitation movies and it's just not very funny or anything. Also not something I haven't seen done way better in other movies. The only thing I liked about this movie was the music. It had good music. So yeah, spoof of exploitation movies. It's purposely bad. But you know what I'd rather see than a movie that's purposely bad? A movie that's purposely good. So I do not recommend Voodoo Apocalypse. Not the worst thing ever, but just kind of a waste of time. Exploitation movies are already fun as it is, so you don't really need a parody of them. Why not just make an exploitation movie? But if you do want to see a parody of an exploitation movie, watch Black Dynamite. That's way better. So next on the list is Monolith. This is about a woman who has a fancy SUV that you can't break into, and she drives off-road and her kid gets locked inside of it. This would be pretty good for a short story in an anthology movie or like Black Mirror or something. But the problem is it just doesn't have enough content for it to warrant the 1.5-hour runtime. And it for sure gets boring. It's okay, but not great. I don't really recommend it. This right here is the state's reservoir. And these people are clearly coming to poison it. Someone's got to put a stop to this. Not me though, I have movies to review. Short Chaos 10, which features a George Lucas precursor movie to THX 1138. So the problem with this DVD is it's just a whole bunch of short films and they're not really worth watching. I mean, you do have the George Lucas one, which is pretty cool, but if you have THX 1138 already on DVD, that's a special feature, the short movie he made. And I actually don't even like that movie very much, and I don't really like the short story either. Now, there is a story on there called The Bottomless Cup, about a guy in a diner who can't leave until he finishes his cup of coffee, but it keeps getting filled up. It's like a Twilight Zone inspired type episode, and that's pretty good. But overall, kind of just not worth your time. Next on the list, I don't know why I thought I would like this, Room to Move, starring Nicole Kidman. It's an Australian after-school special. Basically, it's only 45 minutes long, so it wasn't that painful to watch. It's not bad or anything. It's just meant for little kids, and I wasn't that into it. I do like BMX Bandits, so I figured maybe I'd like this, but nah. Just kind of too wholesome for my taste, and yeah.
You know how big you'll be.
Oh yeah.
About 150.
Oh, what a cutie. Okay, so next we have Paws to the Rescue. This is a kid's movie, obviously not made for a middle-aged man. I do get some enjoyment out of movies like this. I think Bingo is underrated. I do enjoy some Air Bud and, you know, other animal movies, MVP and stuff like that. They're just goofy and fun to watch. This was kind of not as good as those. If you have little kids or something, sure, grab this for them, but besides that, it's not that great. Now that's a killer bike right there. Speaking of killer bikes, we got Hell Ride. Unfortunately, this also isn't that great of a movie. Quentin Tarantino presents. I wish he wouldn't put his name on just anything. Quentin Tarantino is my favorite writer and my favorite director, but the things that he just produces sometimes aren't the greatest. I like Hostel a lot, but the other ones, not so much. This is written, directed, produced by a guy named Larry Bishop, who's the main star. He's the guy who owns the strip club in Kill Bill Volume 2. He was also in old motorcycle movies, and he's just not that good of a director or a writer. And unfortunately, this movie isn't that great. It does have some pretty good action. That's why it's in the middle of the list. So not the worst thing ever, but also not great by any means. We got the information booth right here. Hello, information. Is this movie any good? The Hottie and the Nottie? The answer...
I could not tell you. I wish I could, but...
The answer is no, it's very bad. So yeah, The Hottie and the Nottie is a very bad movie, but it's in the middle of the list because it is entertaining for its cringe value. The whole movie is they're just like bashing this woman on how gross she is. Then of course, at the end of the movie, she gets her makeover. And then this guy who is constantly ragging on her, constantly saying how ugly she is, he realizes he was in love with her the whole time, now that she's hot. So yes, very mean-spirited, very shallow of a movie. It actually did win a bunch of awards though. It won Worst Actor, it won Worst Actress, it won Worst Screenplay. I think it won every Razzie that year except for Worst Movie. Next up, we got Alpha Test. Very low budget about a robot butler lady who goes crazy and kills her owners. The owners actually do deserve it, so it is fun to see the robot kill them. There are some pretty good kills, but like I said, this is very low budget, so it's a little goofy at times, and the mask that the robot wears isn't great, and like the acting is bad and stuff, but overall it's not horrible. They got clogs. I do need a new pair of shoes, but before I buy my new shoes, let's talk about Inmate Zero. Another zombie movie. This one's kind of forgettable. There isn't much zombie action in it, but it is a pretty well produced movie. That's why it's in the middle of the list here. Nothing too memorable, but not awful though. Fast zombies though, which I do not like. Please touch and look. A work of art. We got a little bit zombie. This is also pretty well done. Problem is, it's a horror comedy, which I'm not a big fan of. There's just too many of them. I would rather see a horror movie that is scary. And this is like goofball zombies where he's like just normal, but he's like, oh, it stinks being a zombie and I have to eat brains. The main point of the movie is that the guy's fiance doesn't really care that he's turning into a zombie. She's so like desperate to get married. And that's kind of funny. This isn't too bad, but also not that great either. A little bit zombie. This seems a little bit harder to find at Dollar Tree. I only found this at one store, I believe. So not too bad. This director, I think, could do something better if he had a bigger budget. Worth watching, I guess. Next up, Getaway. This wasn't too bad. This is actually pretty good. It's about a girl who gets kidnapped by these like hillbilly type guys, and she has to escape, obviously. And the acting's pretty good. The camera work's pretty good. The script is just average. But the problem is it seems like they didn't have much money for special effects. And that's really its main downfall. Besides that, it's pretty good. You're not gonna get a lot of gore or anything in this one, but I guess it's worth watching. We got 8 heads in a duffel bag. So I describe this movie as humorous, but not hilarious or anything. It's kind of like a sitcom, the humor, where it's like the guy has his 8 heads in a duffel bag. He's in a motel room, and then the maid comes in, and like a head falls on the floor, and he has to like hide it and stuff. And you know, it's jokes like that. There's a house at the end of the street where a bad man lives, and he's gonna come after Jennifer Lawrence. This is basically a horror movie for teenage girls. It looks nice, but it's not like really scary or anything. It has a twist. Of course, they all have twists, and it's just okay. So I do like zombie movies if they're halfway competent, and this one's okay. Last one's out.
I know, right?
Also not great because the characters aren't very good. They're not very likable. There's not much gore or anything. The zombies are fast, which I don't like. The camera's a little jittery, not as bad as Anger of the Dead, but still a little bit too fast-paced than what I like. But overall, pretty good. Like I said, I'm a sucker for the zombies. Next on the list, we got Survival of the Dead. George Romero. I really wish I liked this more. I saw this a long time ago when it first came out, and also wasn't that into it then. It uses some really goofy CGI early on. After that, it kind of doesn't use as much CGI, but the movie itself for George Romero is just not up to his standards. He's like the godfather of zombie movies. It's a shame that this was his last one he made. So it's about a group of people on an island, and they feel that the zombies still have some humanity, so they should be kept alive. And then a new group comes and thinks that they should all be killed, and they kind of like battle it out. There's some okay scenes in this. This zombie movie's even better though, Deadsight. It's about a guy who's in the back of an ambulance, and he's blind, and he wakes up to a zombie apocalypse. Nothing too original there, but it's a pretty well-made movie. So he teams up with this cop who's pregnant, and they have to survive against zombies. Pretty well done. I like this movie. At this point in the video, these are ones that like I recommend.
Might be easier to walk around this video.
Next, we got Visioneers, Zach Galifianakis, Office Space meets Brazil, and that's a pretty good comparison. It's about people who have uneventful lives are exploding, and Zach Galifianakis works in this like weirdo office. I'm not really sure what he even does there. It's very surreal. It has some very funny moments. Overall, I don't really like surreal movies that much. I do like David Lynch and stuff, but I feel that most people don't pull it off very well. This like halfway pulls it off, so it's pretty entertaining, but not the best movie or anything. Definitely worth checking out for $1. We're at the top 10 movies I watched over the last month. I got at Dollar Tree. Number 10 is Free Birds, Let 'Em Free. So this is an average animated family movie. Not the worst, definitely not the best. Has some funny moments. Owen Wilson, Woody Harrelson, Amy Poehler. Pretty good. Again, if you have kids, definitely worth $1. If you're a grown-up like me, maybe worth it. It's up to you to decide. This is number 10.
You're volunteering?
Next up, Eminem, aka number 9. Pretty well-made documentary. Unfortunately, like a lot of these documentaries, it doesn't have the music of the artist, and they also don't interview Eminem at all. They do get his mom and grandmother and uncle That's kind of interesting. And if you like Eminem, can't go wrong with this one. Next up, American Outlaws. Now this movie was critically panned. I actually don't think it's that bad. I guess the main thing is people don't like how Jesse James is a good guy in this. What do I care? Some pretty good action. You just turn off your mind and you watch the screen, and I thought it was worth $1. Next up, The Trees Have Eyes. The Trees Have Eyes. This gets a high rating from me because it does what a zombie movie is supposed to do. Does it have good acting? No. Does it look nice? Not really. Good script? Good directing? No. But large groups of zombies are constantly attacking people. They're not fast zombies, they're just regular, real zombies, and that's what I want in a zombie movie. So that's why this is number 7. The Birth of Big Ear, documentary about BMX rider Matt Hoffman. This is just entertaining to watch. Highly recommend this one. Produced by Jeff Tremaine of Jackass fame, also Spike Jonze, ESPN 30 for 30. It's slightly anticlimactic, as you see here. Matt Hoffman getting massive ear right there. Then a guy, Dave Mara, comes and gets like the official record. This was unofficial. So at the end of the movie, Matt Hoffman is like training to beat Dave Mara's record, but then like just gets injured and gives up. So it'd be like if you watched Rocky and like the whole movie goes along, and but before he fights Apollo Creed, he just like, you know, oh, I broke my hand, have to retire. But that aside, it's still worth checking out. You can pay $1 to kiss a dog. We got BKO Bangkok Knockout. This movie has very, very bad acting. Hello. Very, very bad acting in BKO Bangkok Knockout. I suggest you watch this movie with your hand on the remote so that you can fast forward whenever someone isn't getting kicked in the face, because the action in this movie is fantastic. Like some of the best I've ever seen. Not as good as The Raid, but almost as good. Highly, highly recommend this one. Just keep your finger on that fast forward button. The acting in this movie is horrendous. Luckily, it's mostly action, so there's not much of the horrendous acting. So that was number 5 on the list. Number 4 is Oculus. Well-made movie. I did have some issues with it. Not much happens in it. Unfortunately, they could have done more. It's about this kid who like kills his dad because his dad is killing his mom because of an evil mirror. So years later, they get the mirror back, and the girl in it wants to prove how evil it is, and she wants to film it. And her plan is to film it, and then she has a device built which will smash the mirror. She can't smash the mirror herself because of its evil powers, it prevents her to. She has the ability though to smash it at any point and doesn't, and that kind of bugs me. But overall, a good flick. Next on the list is Masterminds. I had a good time with this one. Good cast there: Zach Galifianakis, Owen Wilson, Kristen Wiig, Jason Sudeikis. It's a true story, apparently as true of a story as it can be, but it's by the director of Napoleon Dynamite, so he Napoleon Dynamites it up a bit. Goofy movie, some laughs to be had. Definitely recommend Masterminds if you find it at the Dollar Tree. You're probably thinking, okay, that's number 3. What the heck is number 2 then? I'll tell ya. Master Z, Ip Man Legacy. I like the Ip Man movies. This is a good spin-off. These are kind of classy, like compared to a lot of action movies. Kind of like a classier action movie. There's Dave Bautista. It's kind of hard to recognize him in that role. He is so good. Holy crap, who would have thought that Dave Bautista, of all people, would be an awesome actor. I had fun with Ip Man Legacy. Only thing I didn't like is that it uses that like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like on wires type of choreography. But besides that, great movie right here. Before we reveal the #1 movie, let's just show off the fitted toe rings. There you go. Now that we built up the suspense, #1 Dollar Tree movie that I watched in the last month. It wasn't even close. This was by far the best one. War Dogs. Highly, highly recommend this. Awesome movie. The movie itself is very serious, but the dialogue is funny, which I think is like the perfect type of movie. Directed by Todd Phillips, who did like Road Trip back in the day. He even directed a G.G. Allin documentary when he was in college. Recently he did Joker. Before Joker he did this movie. So yes, highly recommend War Dogs. I put off watching it for a long time. Should have watched it sooner, but I got to it and I liked it a lot. Based on a true story, which is pretty crazy. These two guys in their 20s become gun runners, and yeah, pretty captivating stuff. I appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. No dogs or animals, please take notice? That means all the doggies we've seen so far have been breaking the law. They're criminals. I hope they don't go to jail.